Good evening and welcome to your favorite Sunday show, Beyond the Deal. As you can see, we're in a completely different space, and that's because things have changed for the better. New energy, new setup, and a fresh start for season 2 of Beyond the Deal. I imagine some of you missed us a little and might have been thought, maybe he stopped recording his episodes. The answer is absolutely not. We've just been getting ready behind the scenes to bring you something even better. Now, instead of weekly episodes, we'll be coming to you on the first and third Sunday of each month. Why? Well, because this season isn't just me. I'll be sitting down with top-tier professionals to bring you powerful insights, useful advice, and real stories from the world of real estate. And speaking of power, let's take a quick moment to recognize the three powerful women who made history in Miami real estate. Mrs. Eslinga, Mrs. Wooten, and Mrs. Maxwell, the founders of EWM Realty International back in 1964. What they created shaped the industry in Miami, and we are proud to carry that legacy forward. So today, to kick things off, I'm joined by a very special guest I will see later, a lender with over 30 years of experience, here to talk about a game-changing buyer assistance program, the well-known Hometown Heroes program. Stay with us because this is the kind of opportunity that doesn't knock twice, and you might be the next to benefit. Let's get started. As I shared at the beginning of the program, for the second season of Beyond the Deal, we're going to be joined by very good professionals. But today, we don't have a very good professional, we have a great professional, and more than that, an outstanding person. Please allow the pleasure and honor to welcome Miss Ani Wilbanks to Beyond the Deal. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Leo. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure is all ours. So, for those who don't know you yet, tell us a little bit about your background. How do you get into the lending industry?
Okay. I started working at a title company, so I started early in the business, and I ended up in a builder 35 years ago, working for a builder. I worked in their closing department, and when they opened their mortgage company, they offered me a job as a loan officer. They thought it would be a good job for me, matching my personality, and I said yes, and here I am 35 years later.
That's awesome. That's impressive. So, what's your approach? Because I mean, in those 35 years, you've worked with hundreds of first-time buyers. Thousands, right?
Because a builder, I worked for the builder. Can I mention the builder?
Sure, no problem.
I worked for Lennar Homes.
Right.
35 years ago, I started with them as a loan officer, and I mostly did first-time buyers because that's usually who buys, those new construction homes. Exactly. And so I've done thousands of first-time buyers, and I love it. Over 35 years, I left after 17 years and moved on, but I always kept that training and the love that I have for that first-time buyer.
That's impressive. That's impressive, Annie. And what's your approach when working with first-time buyers or buyers who are just starting to explore financing options?
The first thing I do is I listen to them because they get a lot of information from people that they work with. They get information from family members, the aunt, the uncle. You have to be careful with this, or this is great, and a lot of it is not necessarily so, and it is that other person's perception. And then my first-time buyer is like in the dark, really what is true, what is not. So I listen to where they are coming from, what they need, what they want, ultimately to get to the American dream, which is still the American dream of homeownership. That's very important.
Right, right. And that's key. It's key to have someone that listens to what your needs are so that you can set clear expectations and definitely help them achieve that dream, as you said.
Yes.
Awesome. So you've helped thousands of first-time buyers, and I know that you've helped hundreds of people that are trying to get the assistance through the Hometown Hero program as well.
Absolutely.
So what makes this kind of work meaningful for you?
Oh my goodness. First of all, I love people. That is number one. I'm very compassionate and understanding that they are getting into a scary territory, which is the biggest investment they're going to make probably in their lives.
Right.
Especially the young couples, and they're just starting out, and rent versus purchase, the money, what's it going to cost, what am I going to pay? I try to help with all of that. I take calls all day, and as long as I'm awake, I take the calls. And even if it's the same question, I have a lot of patience, and I build a loving relationship with them and a team with the realtors, with the real estate attorneys, title agents, all of us, the inspectors, whoever. We build a team together to help us get to the finish line.
Wow, that's impressive. That's awesome, because sometimes people see this like as a transactional thing.
No.
But it's not that. It's beyond that. It's having someone who really cares about what your needs are, what's your situation, what you want to achieve, right? So
Yes.
what your dreams are. So absolutely.
And it is very exciting. I love hearing about their dreams. People are fascinating in the trajectory of their lives. When I met you, Leo, I was fascinated by the trajectory of your life and how you got to where you are. It's just very inspiring. So the customers and my clients, they inspire me as well.
Thank you, Ani. You inspire a lot of people as well. A lot of people you meet as well.
Thank you.
Well, and here we are out of the studio. We are on Miracle Mile in front of Francesco's restaurant with my friend Diana Aguas. As I've shared at the beginning of the program, we're going to be seeing her very often because she's bringing great surprises for all of you. Diana, what's coming up?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Leo, for having me.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. So this week, we are having our first networking at Francesco. It's going to be every Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. starting July 10th. And he's the only one that made me speak English in front of the camera, okay? But I'm super, super excited about this. We are inviting all the professionals in Miami to come to join us and meet new people in different industries, collaborate, exchange business cards, and let's see what happens.
Well, that's awesome, and you already heard it. It's going to be Thursday, July 10th, correct? From 5 p.m.
To 8.
to 8 in
Yes.
the evening. So,
It's an extended happy hour.
right?
So I know traffic, people sometimes get a little bit behind at work,
Right.
but they can come because we're gonna have a welcome drink for everybody that comes to the networking
It's
event.
awesome. No
Yes.
excuses then.
No.
Right? Not at all. Well, you already heard it. So we're waiting for you right here. And remember, if you're not networking, you're not working.
Correct.
As you know, our main focus in this program is going to be the Hometown Heroes program. So, Ani, can you please break it down? What is exactly Hometown Heroes program?
Absolutely. Hometown Heroes is a down payment assistance program. It was supposed to be approved by July 1st, but the budget has been approved for the state of Florida. It's going to be $50 million this year in 2025. Now it is at the desk of Governor DeSantis, where he is going to finalize any new changes. One of the bigger changes that we see that is definitely going to happen is the eligibility of occupations. At first, it started with first responders and that nature. For a couple of years, then they were including everyone.
Right.
But now we're going back to I just want to briefly say, healthcare workers, school staff members, first responders, public safety employees, court employees, childcare, service members, that's very important in the military, and veterans that have a full-time job in a Florida-based company. At least one of the people in any of these jobs, one of the buyers and borrowers that is applying, must be a full-time employee at a Florida-based company. That is one of the requirements. This has nothing to do with household income, which is excellent, because if you have a spouse or an 18-year-old son that works and they don't qualify, we don't have to use them if only one buyer qualifies. There are examples where there are two nurses and one works but the other one stays at home. We don't have to worry about, the other income or that kind of thing. So that one of the biggest changes is going to be the eligible occupations.
Well, that's awesome, Ani. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that last year the program was for everyone, no?
Yes, I believe so. And this year is going to be the change. We're back to yes.
So that's a major change.
It is. It is a major change.
Yeah. And who qualifies for this program? I mean, we already talked about occupation. Is there something else that we need to keep in mind when applying for the program?
Yes. This program is a second mortgage that is in conjunction with a first mortgage with either FHA, VA, Freddie Mac, or Fannie Mae. So it is in conjunction. It's a second mortgage. It is 0% interest. It's non-amortizing, so it's not going to, but the payment of that is going to be deferred for 30 years. The only time this loan, quote unquote, it's a second mortgage, becomes due and payable is if you sell the property,
right?
If you deed the property to someone and are no longer living there, because this is for first-time buyers and owner-occupied primary residence.
Right, makes sense.
That's very important. So if you deed the property out and you are no longer the occupant, then it becomes due and payable. Of course, if you sell the property, then it will become due and payable.
Perfect. And so how much financial assistance can someone actually receive? And how does that help the closing costs or down payment? Like, how does that get reflected on the transaction?
Oh, it's excellent. And it's one of the simpler programs, believe it or not. I have done these, and it's one of the simpler programs. They'll give you up to 5% of the loan amount with a maximum of $35,000. That helps, because if you think one of the issues that first-time buyers have is saving up money. And nowadays, a home is, let's say, an average of $500,000. Well, 5% is $25,000. That's just the down payment with 5%. So think about how this would help you. Right. And all you have to pay would be your closing costs. Or you can use it, let's say you have the 5%, but you need help with closing costs. You can use it for that. So it all works out incredibly well.
Perfect. So that means that, for example, if the closing cost of a transaction is $30,000 and they get approved for $25,000, that's towards closing costs, and they just need to put the difference.
Exactly.
Great. Wow. That's awesome. Well,
it is excellent.
That's excellent. So we were talking about hometown heroes. We were talking about the requirements. We were talking about the maximum amount that someone can get as an assistance. And how does the process look like? So how early should buyers apply or get pre-approved if they're interested?
Okay. If you're thinking of home ownership, whether now when you're unsure of what to do.
Right.
The best thing to do, the first thing you have to do is get pre-approved by a licensed and a legitimate lender and loan officer, because there are scammers out there and they prey on first-time buyers, especially looking for assistance. They want to charge you an upfront fee. They'll say, okay, Hometown Heroes charges $3,000 to apply. None of that is true. It costs $0 to apply for the program. When you come to me, for example, for a pre-approval, I will know the guidelines. Right. So I will be able to tell you, this is going to work for you. And we move forward. Now, the way to reserve the money is you have to have an executed contract. You can't just reserve while you're looking. So start early. We still don't have the money available. And I will tell you this, with Hometown Heroes, as with any down payment assistance programs, the money goes fast.
Right.
The money goes fast. So you want to be pre-approved and you want to start looking. And in a way, it's better that we don't have all the details, so that buys you time to get pre-approved and to work with Leo here so that he can help you see property and procure a loan.
Right, absolutely. And I think it's also very important that they let their lender know that they are going to use the assisted home program. Because sometimes people think, well, let's say that the program starts on X date, right? And people are, let's say, this is an example, July 15th, let's say, right? And people are on the contract on the 20th. And they are like, well, we're going to wait for inspection. And when the financing period is on the 10th day, I'm going to tell my lender to use the assistance program. And that doesn't work that way.
No, you've got to move.
100%. And there are also certain terms that need to be on the additional term section of the contract, right? So in order to protect the buyer in case that something happens with those funds, because that's not a guarantee.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So that's very important. And so we were talking about the costs associated with it. We were talking, you shared that the interest rate is 0.
For that second mortgage, correct.
Second mortgage,
non-amortizing.
Non-amortizing, that's awesome. Is there any costs associated with the program or things that buyers should be cautious about?
Well, cautious of scammers.
Right.
Other than that, no. With the Hometown Heroes program, you get a little bit of a better interest rate than the market rate, and you get a little bit of reduced cost as well in closing costs. So it works out very, very well. Yes, yes.
Awesome, that's great to know. Based on your experience, Ani, in this type of programs and all first-time buyers programs you've dealt with, do you see any common misunderstanding or mistakes people make when it comes to this type of programs?
If you're working with a good loan officer and a lender, no. Because I will explain everything. You will become a home buying expert by the time we finish. I don't just ask for papers, I explain why I'm asking for papers. I want you to feel comfortable. I always want the person to feel comfortable to ask me anything. They'll tell me, I have a dumb question. There are no dumb questions. So you're going to be informed, so we're not going to make mistakes. I try to make it very, very clear, and I want to make sure that you understand what you're getting into.
Right, which is very important.
Yes.
Because as first-time buyers, they might have a lot of questions and doubts, and it's important that they have someone on their side that's able to answer those questions and guide them as they deserve, right?
Absolutely. And I work very much with the buyer's agent. Of course, we work hand in hand, but I also include the listing agent too, because I don't want there to be like that. I try to make a team that nobody is on the defensive. Oh, they're trying to take advantage of me. No, let's work together. You want to sell, they want to sell, you want to buy. Let's work together. So I'm happy to speak with listing agents and work together.
Absolutely. That's what real estate is all about.
Yes, it is. That's what I love about it, is the teamwork.
Absolutely. So Ani, if someone, actually, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people watching and thinking that may qualify. So what's the first thing that they should do?
Get pre-approved.
Perfect.
Get pre-approved. That's very important, because the loan officer, I or any loan officer, should give you in black and white numbers. That's very important. That's more important than anything to me, is the estimate, so that you really have an idea. This is what you're going to pay monthly, approximately, especially if you don't have a property, we guesstimate taxes and insurance, but that's very important, what you're going to pay monthly, and if you qualify for it, that's my job. And then how much are you going to need out of pocket? With the Hometown Heroes, what's left for you to bring?
Right.
Or any down payment assistance program. You see it in black and white, and that makes it very real. Some people, will have to wait a little bit, and some people are ready to go, and they didn't think they were.
Right. That's true.
You'd be surprised.
Absolutely.
So
that's true. Absolutely. Ani, I know that there are people watching the video, and since one of the major changes that the program has this year is the occupations and the professions where they should, or the fields they should be in. If there is someone watching the video and they think that they can't get this assistance program because of that, because probably they are not in those fields, right? They are not in those professions. Is there any other option that you might have for them?
Absolutely, Leo. We have many options. Guild Mortgage is a national mortgage company that I work with. We have an incredible team. Our manager is awesome, and we have a senior vice president, Nora Guerra, that joined us last year. She worked for Freddie Mac for many years, and her specialty is community lending. So she has brought that to the table for us to make it simpler, to help us understand the products that we have to help you. So we have, as loan officers, we have an incredible back room helping us find a program. If it's not this one, we have several others that may be able to help you with down payment assistance.
So Ani, do you have any example as of past experience where you have been able to help those first-time buyers with those assistance programs?
Absolutely. For example, if you don't qualify because you're not one of the occupations, you don't work, your occupation is not one on the list, we have other programs that we find that suit your needs and that suit your experience, your situation, your occupation. Most are not occupational related, just this Hometown Heroes is. And we will absolutely put you on that program and help you with that, absolutely. We will run the gamut to try to help place you. If you don't qualify, then we'll go to an FHA or a 3% Fannie Mae to help you with that. We can do that. Yes, which is absolutely doable. Oh, I wanted to mention one more thing. The credit score for the Hometown Heroes program, if I'm not mistaken, last year it was a 680, which is nowadays, it's better to have a higher
100%
credit score for a better rate. It is going to, but you can get in.
So 680.
Yes.
That's very good for them.
Yes.
Absolutely. Ani, to finalize, do you have any tip or any insight or advice you have for the audience?
Yes. Don't believe everything you hear out there. Buying a home is very personal. And even the simplest of loans becomes sometimes complicated simply because human beings are complicated, and every person is different and their experiences are different. So don't go with what you hear. A coworker tells you this or that. Oh, I got this like this. Oh, this was so simple. Oh, this was so horrible. Oh, don't go with any of that. Go with a qualified loan officer that is going to tell you the facts, that is going to give you the numbers, that is going to help you. And be wary of scammers. None of these programs charge any fees to apply for this. And we have seen people tell us, and they've given money, and then they don't qualify, and I could say in the thousands.
Right.
So
right.
be careful with that.
that's pure gold.
Yes.
Ani, if there is anyone here in the audience who wants to get pre-approved, what's the best way that they can reach out to you?
The best way to reach out to me is call me on my cell. If I don't answer at the moment, please leave a message and I will return your call promptly. You can also text me. That's a great way. The realtor, Leo, he will text me with your introducing you.
Right.
And I will call you back there as well. That's the way. And also, you'll have my email, but that would be the third. The best way is call and or text.
Perfect. Awesome. Ani, thank you so much for everything you've shared today.
I'm so happy.
It's awesome to have you here. There is something you're not expecting. We have a little present for you as a gesture of appreciation for being here.
No.
You're not you don't know it, but today is 4th of July, and she dedicated her time to be here recording this, sharing all her knowledge with all of you and with me as well. So I have no words to say thank you. So I'm gonna bring it right now. It's just a little present.
Hi, Leo. I'm happy to do it, and I apologize that my voice is a little bit hoarse because I'm a little bit under the weather, but I feel great.
So this is a little candle. I hope you like floral scent.
I know.
And this was written from the bottom of our heart. If you wanna.
The first official guest.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So if you want to read it, because it says a lot about who you are, honestly, as personally and professionally.
Thank you. I'm going to read it. Dear Ani Wilbanks, thank you for being the first official guest on Beyond the Deal. Your present insights and professionalism set the perfect tone for what this show is all about. Real conversations, real value, real people making a difference. Wow, it's truth. But beyond your knowledge and experience as a lender, it is your spirit that leaves the deepest impression. Your happiness is not just a mood. It is a light you carry to share so effortlessly with everyone around you, whether at a BNI meeting or a podcast or in everyday moments. You remind us all that joy is contagious and kindness is powerful. Oh, Leo. This small token is a reminder how much you are appreciated, not only for what you do, but for who you are. Keep showing up with that energy and laughter and that heart. The world needs more of it, with gratitude and admiration. Leodan, Leonel, León. Thank you, my Leo. Thank you. Thank you, sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you have filled my heart. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, and as I've always said, I hope that whatever happens with you between now and the next time we see each other is absolutely amazing. And I end with something that says that you're gonna love it. Be happy.
Be happy. Yes. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Thank you very much.